Summary: Daring Greatly: How the Courage to be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead. Brené Brown. Discover the transformative power of vulnerability. Dive into Daring Greatly by Brené Brown, a guide to authentic living, connections, and courageous leadership. As an entrepreneur, you are no stranger to the roller coaster of highs and lows that define the journey of building a business from the ground up. You've likely read your fair share of success stories, soaked up advice on resilience, and learned the art of the pivot. But there's an unexplored territory in the entrepreneurial landscape that promises to redefine success: the power of vulnerability. Brené Brown's transformative book, Daring Greatly, unveils the unexpected strength of embracing vulnerability, a concept that could be the key to unlocking profound growth and innovation in your venture. Vulnerability, the entrepreneur's unlikely ally. Forget the outdated notion that vulnerability is a weakness. As Brown compellingly illustrates, vulnerability is the most accurate measure of courage. It's the willingness to show up and be seen, to share your ideas without a guarantee of acceptance, to invest your life savings into a vision that has no precedent, and to lead teams into the unknown. This raw exposure is not the opposite of strength, it is the essence of it. Courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Embracing risk and uncertainty. In the startup world, risk and uncertainty are par for the course. But how you handle them can make the difference between a thriving business and a stagnant one. Vulnerability empowers you to face risks head-on, acknowledging the potential for failure, but not being defined by it. It's the force that propels you to innovate, because true innovation cannot exist without the risk of imperfection. The myth of the lone wolf. As you navigate the entrepreneurial journey, you'll realize that the lone wolf myth is just that, a myth. Connection is the lifeblood of any business endeavor. Vulnerability is what makes these connections genuine. When you share your challenges and doubts, you build trust with your team, customers, and stakeholders. This trust lays the foundation for a community invested not just in your product or service, but in you. Transforming entrepreneurial leadership. Leadership demands more than decisive action. It calls for humanity. Vulnerability transforms leaders from untouchable figures into relatable individuals who earn the respect and loyalty of their team. Vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never weakness. The innovation that comes from imperfection. Innovation isn't born in a vacuum of perfection, but in the messy, error-prone process of trial and error. When leaders are vulnerable, they create an environment where it's safe to experiment, fail, and learn. This safe space is fertile ground for ideas that push the envelope, as team members feel supported to voice unconventional solutions without fear of ridicule. Accountability through openness. Accountability often gets lost in a culture that fears vulnerability. By being open about challenges and failures, you set a precedent for accountability that runs through the company's veins. It's about saying, we missed the mark, and here's what we're going to do about it. This approach not only solves problems more efficiently, but also fosters a culture of responsibility and continuous improvement. The customer connection. In today's market, customers seek authenticity. They can smell insincerity from a mile away and will gravitate towards businesses that are honest and transparent. Marketing with a human touch. When marketing your product, vulnerability can be your greatest asset. Share your creation story, the obstacles you've overcome, and the lessons learned along the way. This narrative will resonate with your audience, making your brand relatable and your product more than just an item. It becomes a piece of your shared experience. Customers loyal to a brand will not only keep returning, but they'll bring others with them. Fostering this loyalty requires a vulnerable approach where you ask for feedback, listen to criticism, and adapt accordingly. It's a relationship built on the understanding that you value their input and are committed to serving them better, even if that means acknowledging that you don't always get it right. Tackling the internal battle, shame and perfectionism. The internal foes of shame and perfectionism can stifle growth. Brown's work highlights the importance of confronting these challenges head-on. Shame, the hidden saboteur. Shame often lurks in the entrepreneur's shadow, whispering tales of inadequacy. The voice says, "You're not enough," or "Who are you to do this?" By bringing shame into the open, recognizing its triggers and talking about it, you strip away its power. Remember, experiencing shame is universal, but overcoming it is a choice. Perfectionism, the creativity killer. Perfectionism may appear commendable, but it's often a shield against vulnerability. It's a barrier to putting yourself and your work out there to be judged. But here's the catch. Creativity and perfectionism are mutually exclusive. One cannot exist in the presence of the other. Embrace the beautifully flawed process of creation and watch as your business blossoms in authenticity. Practical steps to cultivating vulnerability. Knowing the value of vulnerability and living it are two different things. Here are actionable steps to integrate vulnerability into your entrepreneurial life. Challenge the status quo. Dare to go against the grain. Question established norms and be willing to rewrite the rules of your industry. Foster emotional literacy. Invest time in understanding your emotions and your teams. Emotional intelligence is a superpower in the entrepreneurial toolkit. Encourage feedback loops. Create systems within your business where open and honest feedback is welcomed and expected. Lead with empathy. Approach leadership from a place of empathy, understanding that each team member's journey is unique and valuable. Promote a growth mindset. Cultivate an environment where growth is prioritized over perfection. Celebrate progress, not just results. Final thoughts. Daring greatly isn't just a philosophy. It's a practical guide to living an entrepreneurial life marked by courage, authenticity, and connection. As you lead your business through the landscape of opportunity and challenge, remember that vulnerability is your ally. It's the soft strength that paves the way for real impact, deep connections, and, ultimately, enduring success. Embrace the risk, connect deeply, lead with humanity, and let vulnerability be the transformative force that elevates your entrepreneurial journey. Your business and your life will be all the better for it. The Apollo Book Podcast. Learn fast, remember forever. Get free quizzes and take home activities by visiting apolloskills.com.